grilled skewers sizzling with oil, freshly cooked light noodles, tender and flavorful pork knuckles, paired with fresh juice. The streets of Kaohsiung are filled with such lively food stalls. At the end of it all is the Wonhung Temple, dedicated to Guan Yu. The worship of Guan Yu has ancient origins. Remarkably, both law-abiding citizens and criminals revere him as a guardian deity. Gang members loudly discuss their bravery in fights and the cowardice of their companions, imagining themselves as the legendary Guan Yu, who treated his wounds with stoic resolve and commanded respect across China. But he never thought he would face a crushing defeat. Loyalty and passion were just empty words for them. In reality, they were plotting to betray and eliminate their comrades. At this moment, justice descended as an assassin emerged from with ghostly precision. He swiftly strikes. The boastful men from earlier didn't even have time to scream before they were silenced. After finishing his task, the man strides out of the Guandi temple. Words like family harmony and prosperity seem irrelevant to him. He doesn't stop at the street stalls, but heads straight into a luxury hotel with his bag. The man, known as Along, is a renowned hitman. After washing his hands, he calmly wraps dumplings as if nothing happened. Under the orders of the gang leader, Along rushes to Tokyo overnight for another mission. The bustling city here is even more captivating, and the girls at the street-side shops are even more alluring. But Aaron kept his eyes straight, staring intently at the person in the photo. As a professional assassin, he only needed to consider the time, place, and target. Under the cover of night, he sneaks into a house through the back door. Passing through a cluttered dressing room, he finds himself next to a nightclub. Young women are boldly flaunting their bodies, while men openly feast their eyes. Among the crowd, the blonde man is Along's target. At this moment, the blonde guy was oblivious to the impending danger. Aaron thrust his knife, but it didn't penetrate. Moreover, several fierce-looking men had surrounded him. Aaron was captured on the spot. Gradually, the noise of the nightclub faded as he was tied up and stuffed into a sack. The assassination failed due to a betrayal. Aaron's passport was burned, and he got beaten up for nothing. The gang leader thought he could be safe, but unexpectedly, his driver stabbed him while muttering, "Give me back my woman." Everyone was confused, while Aaron took advantage of the chaos to roll down the hill, disappearing into the endless night. The driver who stabbed the boss also turned and fled. Gunshots rang out behind him, but he didn't dare to look back. When he finally stopped, he was face to face with Aaron. The driver had been shot in the back and, before dying, placed the dagger in Aaron's hand. Unaware of the full situation, Along had no choice but to flee. To stay alive meant a chance for revenge. In the pouring rain, a severely injured person has limited options. Surrounded by gang members searching for him, his only choice was to hide in a truck and hope he wouldn't be discovered. Fortunately, the gang's inspection wasn't too strict. Aaron successfully passed through multiple checkpoints. At dawn, Aaron stopped at an old, dilapidated house. It seems deserted here, so there shouldn't be any pursuers. The desolation here speaks volumes. The house is filled with ghostly addicts. Some are not even dead yet, but flies are already swarming over them. Finally, Aaron collapses on the roadside, exhausted. He was awakened by a little boy named Junjun, who handed him a bottle of water. After accepting the kindness, Junjun turned and ran away. A while later, Junjun brought a bunch of disinfectant and gauze. After Along tidied up, Junjun brought him some clothes, which seemed to belong to his mother. Along's strong build couldn't fit into them, so he used them as a pillow and fell back into a deep sleep. When he woke up again, Junjun hurriedly ran off, leaving behind the green onions and eggplants. Alone understood the child's thoughts. He really didn't want to run for his life carrying a bunch of vegetables. After looking around, he felt that there shouldn't be any more people here. He picked up some discarded cooking utensils from the ground and found a house that looked relatively clean. He planned to clean water still flows from the tap. He washed the blood off his face and cleaned the pot and spoon. The spices on the windowsill should still be good. Aaron went out to get the vegetables the child gave him, and Junjun followed him in. She watched Aaron handle the eggplant with a small knife, still not saying a word. The house probably has no electricity. Right outside the door, Along started a fire to cook. He asked the child where he came from, but Junjun just stared blankly at him without answering. As a gesture of thanks, Along served Junjun a bowl of the cooked meal first. Along's cooking skills truly did justice to Junjun's efforts. Unexpectedly, I ran into a fellow townsman here. At this moment, Junjun was called away by a woman. She gave Junjun some money, seemingly to buy something. Along didn't interfere, just quietly followed. He saw Junjun take the money and walk through the alley, buying something from a man in the parking lot. Then he returned to the messy house. The woman saw Junjun as if she had seen a savior. With trembling hands, she opened the box, but Along, who had followed, snatched it away. Aaron slapped the woman hard. He knew it was drugs. With no special medicine around, he could only use ice water to calm her down. The rice was still cooking. Seeing the child standing timidly nearby, Aaron served the first bowl to Junjun, but Junjun knocked it over. He served another bowl and handed it over. This time, Junjun didn't refuse and took the bowl home. He wanted his drug-addicted mother to eat, but the woman loudly demanded to be untied. The woman's name is Lily. In Aaron's memory, he has met many girls like this. Without exception, their lives are controlled by drugs. Some have gone astray, while others have willingly fallen. Alone, with no other options, sneaks out to the street late at night. He spots a car with its hazard lights on and an open window. Quietly, he takes a phone from the car and calls home. Hearing that Aaron is in Japan but lost his passport, the woman says there will be a smuggling boat at Yokohama port on the 30th. However, it requires a fee of 300,000 yen, otherwise no deal. With no money, Aaron has to hang up the phone. He continues to cook in the dilapidated hut. The heavy rain can't dampen his enthusiasm for cooking. Since Junjun didn't come today, he eats the first bowl of rice himself. But as soon as he put down the bowl, the aroma of the food attracted an old man. The fragrance made him forget his manners. He instantly felt that Along was a cooking master and insisted on taking Along to his home to cook. Cooking seems to be ingrained in the genes of Chinese people. Aaron's skills left this Japanese gentleman in awe. Delicious. After the neighbors tasted it, they realized that Aaron indeed had exceptional talent. They warmly invited him to help at the family gathering in the evening. Fried pork chops, handmade beef balls, and special wontons. Aaron's skills had won over all the neighbors. Everyone praised it highly and couldn't stop eating. How to overcome the language barrier. He doesn't speak Japanese, right? Food transcends language. As long as the dishes are good, there will always be customers. Knowing that Aaron is still living in the abandoned house, the kind neighbors didn't suspect him of being a killer. Everyone thought he must have his reasons. Since he ate Along's food, he naturally had to help him to the end. Not only did he agree to help him get electricity to his house, but he also promised to provide fresh meat and vegetables to help him start his own food stall. Along, who used to be a ruthless killer, has now become the cute little Long who can cook, as described by his neighbors. Such enthusiasm left Aaron momentarily overwhelmed, but it felt like something hard inside him was slowly melting. Xiaolong, this is today's reward. It's not much, but consider it a thank you. Just cooking one meal isn't enough. The neighbors all invited Xiaolong to cook at their homes too. With that, Xiaolong pulled the cart filled with a neighbor's kindness back home. On the other side, Lily seemed to have successfully quit drugs and was willing to eat patiently. Junjun fed her bite by bite, and she ate bite by bite. At this moment, Along was a bit unsure of what to do. There were only a few days left until the 30th, but there was so little money left it wasn't enough for anything. But maybe he wouldn't have to worry about going back. At dawn, the neighbors came with various tools to the house. The older men helped prepare the house, while the older women cleaned up the nearby trash. Everyone wanted Chef Xiaolong to have a better life. It's not even noon yet, and the neighbors have already brought over meat and seafood. They didn't forget the cookware and spices, and even brought clothes and shoes. To show his gratitude, Aaron once again showcases his culinary skills. Cooked beef and made noodles. The neighbors loved it so much that they even prepared a small cart for Along to sell beef noodles. By the way, where should we set up the stall? How about next to the convenience store? They couldn't set up on the main road, and the station was too remote. The neighbors decided to talk to the abbot tomorrow to see if they could set up the stall at the temple gate. Aaron was a bit confused. He hadn't done anything special, just cooked a meal, yet he received so much kindness. Finally, Aaron's beef noodle stall opened. People of all ages are captivated by Chinese cuisine. The elderly are too busy eating noodles to talk, while the young ones take photos before eating. Junjun thoughtfully helps Alone wash the dishes. Seeing Chef Xiaolong's business thriving, the neighbors feel gratified and consider promoting Alone further. The enthusiastic guy even called a group of friends to dance in matching outfits to attract customers. Everything is getting better. Every time Aaron closes a stall, Junjun sensibly helps push the cart from behind. One big, one small, one fast, one slow, their life is calm and gentle. When they get tired halfway, they sit by the river and eat popsicles. Lily has mostly recovered now and no longer needs Junjun's help during meals. However, she occasionally recalls her painful past. When Lily first arrived in Japan, she survived by selling her body. Is it that old man? He's driving me crazy. That bald guy, right? He's really disgusting. The madam came over with envelopes to pay the girls, but the driver didn't get one. The reason was that he crashed the car a few days ago, so his salary was withheld to cover the damages. Kind-hearted Lily took out her own money to give to him after everyone left, but the proud driver refused. They didn't say anything more, but their feelings had changed. At dawn, the driver bravely followed and stammered his thanks to Lily. Generously, Lily invited the driver to have Chinese food: stir-fried shrimp, soup dumplings, almond tofu, and sesame balls. Although they couldn't understand each other's language, they could grasp some simple words. For more complex ideas, they had to rely on gestures. Lily expressed her dream of becoming a ballet dancer, and the driver encouraged her with a kiss on the midnight street. Two lonely hearts leaned on each other, and eventually, something indescribable happened. He didn't even realize that Kaohsiung is a place name. He thought it was someone bullying Lily and wanted to go teach them a lesson. Kenji, are you an idiot? From then on, the two of them started dating like a normal couple. They would go on dates in the sunlight and embrace tightly after the midnight hustle. The driver began picking out exquisite necklaces. Lily, however, discovered she was pregnant. I love you. But in a place like this, love is useless. The driver was beaten until he vomited blood, and Lily was forcibly taken away. Touching the women in the store leads to a bad end. Helplessly watching Lily being taken away, there was nothing they could do. Finally, Lily couldn't bear it anymore and secretly escaped one night. Homeless and alone, she had no one in Tokyo. She could only run wildly through the streets. The pain from the baby in her womb was unbearable. To survive, Lily had to return to her old ways. Even with a newborn baby lying outside, Lily had to kneel shyly on the tatami mat. To make a living, she spent nights with different men. She thought life couldn't get any worse. But on this day, she discovered that the bald man had injected her with drugs. From then on, the addicted Lily was controlled by him. Her attitude changed from initial rejection and disgust to anticipation and even craving. Eventually, she went crazy if she didn't see him, eagerly hoping the next customer would be him. However, the bald man seemed to have disappeared and never showed up again. Lily, in the throes of withdrawal, frantically calls on her phone but can't reach Baldy. Desperate, she throws on a coat and stumbles out of the alley. She hands over the money and finally gets what she wants. When Lily returned, she found the poor child crying in the hallway. They were evicted by the landlord, and the children's cries annoyed her even more. Those days seem like a distant memory now. With Aaron's help, Lily has overcome her addiction, and Junjun has grown up. Life has a new hope again. On the other side, Aaron is sorting through clothes given by neighbors. They all seem to fit well. He plans to make even better beef noodles to thank everyone, but the calendar on the wall shows that the 30th is approaching. Aaron sets up his stall again and still attracts a large crowd of customers. Additionally, the neighbors are aggressively attracting customers. The ladies are simply captivated by this young chef from afar. Is that child his son? The son of that woman who sold herself? Junjun works very hard, not stopping even when drenched in sweat. Such dedication from both the big and the small is truly endearing. However, Along feels a vague sense of worry, as if something significant is about to happen. That day, an unexpected guest arrived. Excuse me, is this the place that sells assassin beef noodles? Isn't this the blonde guy who failed the assassination before? Along gripped his knife, ready to strike at any moment. Luckily, it was all just a dream. The thing Aaron was worried about didn't happen. The last day of his street vending went smoothly. No assassins, no thugs, no gang leaders. He even got to watch a play with everyone in the evening. The neighbors had signed up for a drama competition. Although he didn't understand what they were performing, Aaron felt everyone was quite serious. After the performance, the neighbors won third place. They discussed having Along join next year. Maybe he could rehearse as Spider-Man since he's so agile. The third prize is some travel tickets. Everyone decided to let Xiaolong and Lily take Junjun on a trip. Along remained expressionless. Tomorrow is the 30th. But the money Jean saved wasn't enough for 300,000, so they couldn't board the ship. They decided to take a walk instead. Junjun was very excited along the way, taking pictures everywhere with his camera. The architectural style here was very different from their hometown. Although Along couldn't understand it, he found Lily particularly attractive at that moment. The three of them were very focused on making clay sculptures, giving off the vibe of a family of three. Men and women are different. Along took Junjun to enjoy the hot springs. They soaked until they were thoroughly relaxed, then remembered to hand their clothes to Lily. They had a simple lunch. Along didn't talk much, and Lily remained silent. Only Junjun kept laughing at the two in front of him. In the afternoon, they didn't go out to play. Along stayed with Lily to play ball. Score. Yay. Congratulate me. Long was so efficient at killing, but now he can't even handle a small ping pong ball. Junjun's face is beaming with laughter. As it gets darker, Long falls asleep from exhaustion. Meanwhile, Lily and Junjun stand at the door, giggling at his snores. These rare moments of family time are truly precious. After returning from his trip, Along brought gifts for every neighbor. Despite his usual stoic expression, everyone appreciated the kind little chef. He remained warm towards Junjun, but Lily, who had struggled with addiction, was still not accepted. She could only stand awkwardly to the side, forcing a smile. After cooking for the neighbors, Erin takes Lily and her son home. Spending so much time together, they have developed feelings for each other. See you tomorrow. Good night. Rest well. As Erin's figure vanished into the night, Lily couldn't sleep. She looked at the cup the three of them made together during the day. If Erin could move in, would they finally have a complete home? So, after finishing up at the stall that day, Lily came over. It seemed like she was there to pick up Junjun, but she was actually helping Erin push the cart, creating more opportunities to interact. On the way home, they saw kids their age playing freely in a baseball field. Junjun looked envious. Erin, having been that age once, left the cart and went to the coach to ask if Junjun could join in. Seeing the harmonious interaction between the two, Lily couldn't help but smile. The coach assigned Junjun a spot to throw the ball, helping him get familiar with baseball. Along also played with Junjun whenever he had free time. Hitting the target wasn't important. What mattered was the companionship. It was about being there for Junjun and Lily, and in a way, they were also warming Along's heart. Trained by Erin, Junjun dominated the competition. Neighbors cheered wildly for Junjun, though they still kept their distance from Lily. Erin, understanding the situation, stood even further away to avoid making Lily uncomfortable. Surprisingly, Junjun managed to play the entire game. Even Erin couldn't help but cheer. The way back was the same as usual, but Along felt something was different. He and Lily were getting along more harmoniously. Even when they set up their stall again, the three of them would do it together. Lily would deliberately sit on the cart and tease Along. June, are you pushing? Push harder. Why is it so heavy? The family of three is just playing around. If no one disturbs them, they will always be happy. Then, Erin wouldn't have to think about saving money to go back. But on this day, Lily saw a familiar figure from afar. It was the bald man who had injected her before, and her face instantly darkened. She was afraid of seeing him, and even more afraid that his appearance would ruin her hard-earned happiness. If possible, she didn't want Junjun and Alone to know about her past. So she chose to stay quietly and watch the two leave. June, Mom forgot something. You go ahead first. June waves goodbye sensibly. Lily runs far away, then takes a detour home. Meanwhile, the bald man with bad intentions is already at the door. Nervous and timid, Lily almost curls up into a ball. The bald man told Lily that she couldn't escape his grasp. Then, he smashed the cup that the three of them had made together, just like shattering Lily's painstakingly mended heart. While Erin and Junjun were still working hard selling beef noodles, they had no idea that Lily was already in trouble at home. Baldy is a scumbag who can't tolerate anyone being happier than him, especially someone he once controlled. He even told Lily that he would use any means necessary to deal with Erin and Junjun, threatening her to come back to him. Unaware of Erin's true identity, Lily had no choice but to compromise. She gave up all resistance and stared blankly out the window. The used syringe was already discarded to the side. Lily didn't even have the heart to complain about the unfairness of life. If there is justice in the world, why doesn't lightning strike these villains? What's even more infuriating is that the bald guy dares to provoke at the noodle stand. Lily was on the floor, trying to piece together the shattered glass. But a broken mirror can't be mended. It was all in vain. She fell into deep despair again, feeling suffocated by her helplessness. She had no will left to fight fate. The bald man finished his noodles, threw down some money, and made a call to gather his gang to deal with Erin. When Erin and Junjun got home, Lily was no longer breathing. Erin seemed to understand what had happened. There was a commotion outside. The bald guy was leading people to dismantle his cart. Hey, what do you jerks think you're doing? The thugs were beating up the neighbors, treating them like they were nothing. It seemed like Erin's nightmare had come true. And besides these few thugs, more gangsters were approaching him. The neighbors were all too scared to make a sound. Erin knew it was time. He took off his hat and placed it on Junjun's head. The long-sheathed knife reappears, sending these scumbags to meet their maker. In court, their crimes might not warrant death, and some lawyers might defend them under the guise of human rights. But who will defend those whose lives they have ruined, or those who have lost their lives? Forgiveness is unnecessary. Erin will personally send them to meet their maker. One step, one knife, one life for life. The blonde who once tried to assassinate him becomes Erin's human shield. Rushing forward, he slashes the throat, finally resolving all troubles. The The neighbors can't believe it. The fearsome figure before them was actually the little dragon chef they had known for a long time. Once things calmed down a bit, everyone silently watched Junjun and the fragments, without saying a word. Uncle kindly advised Along to leave quickly. Later, Aaron finally returned to Kaohsiung and continued his work as a hitman. The gang leader gave him a new task. Aaron took the job. He's an assassin and relies on this for a living. But when he turned his head, he saw some familiar faces across the street. It was his old neighbors and Junjun. They had come to Kaohsiung to find him. The neighbors saw Aaron and excitedly waved hello. In everyone's heart, Aaron is just Aaron, the adorable chef who makes amazing beef noodles. Despite the heavy traffic, the men and women kept bowing and apologizing, using their bodies to stop each car, finally creating a path for Junjun. Seeing this, Aaron quickly ran over, unsure of what to say. He squatted down and hugged Junjun tightly, scolding him for running off and blaming everyone for not staying together. Everyone was in tears. Even though they might not understand what the other is saying, their emotions are conveyed through tears. Later, Junjun became Along's son. Like any father, Along strictly told Junjun not to be late for school every day. Junjun always obediently listened and neatly arranged a photo before leaving. That memory was his only one, and also Along's only one. Mr. Long is one of the rare films where Changchen didn't need to prepare in advance for the fight scenes. All the violent scenes were shot in just 4 hours. The film received 2 nominations at the Berlin Film Festival. Changchen even apologized to Yao Yidi, who played Lily, at the festival because the slap was real. Perhaps due to the character's limitations, the male lead remains expressionless throughout the film, which is in stark contrast to the female lead. Yao Yidi's crying, laughing, and even expressionless scenes are incredibly rich. Changchen had to convey tension, helplessness, and anger through subtle details in less than 20 lines of dialogue, which was quite challenging.